We've never been more down than we are right now. 5 straight losses for the Arizona Cardinals, and it doesn't look like any changes are in sight for the Redbirds. But Johnny Venerable, what moves should the team make during their bye week?
Plus, is this regime running out of time to get this right? Jonathan Gannon, Monti Ossenfort, are they comparing favorably to a certain regime in Chicago this time last year? PHNX Cardinals on a big fat loser Monday starts now. Hey, welcome in. Live from Studio K, presented by our friends at Triple K. The PHNX Cardinals podcast, your premier, #1 in the world, Arizona Cardinal podcast. Like and subscribe. Leave us a 5-star wherever you get your programming. I'm Johnny Venerable. He, of course, is Brack in Studio K. No, man, behind the mic, the Arizona Cardinals is the season over at 2-5 after the team's 5th straight loss. Our major changes en route. Bo, how are we living on Football Monday?
We're doing well. Welcome to everybody in the chat. Lighten it up from our supporters club. I see those lives being dropped. Tom, Mike, I love it. Arizona Cardinals Chokes. Deborah's here. Jeremy, how about Johan Dotson, one of the best names in the chat.
So good.
White is fun. Cuff, Frozen Smoke, Richard, Perez, Ben, Kojad, the entire squad. Jenga Man, love it. Pup, Nick, squad, David, everybody's hanging out here wanting to figure out what the hell is wrong with this team. They can't get it done in the 4th quarter. We got some alarming statistics. We got the quarterback controversy already upon us. And of course, that defense not being able to close in the final quarter. We're going to get it all into it here on PHNX Cardinals. Of course, brought to you by our friends over at Bet365. Download the Bet365 app today. Use the code PHNX365. Deposit $10 and place a bet for $5 and get $200 in bonus bets. Must be 21 years or older. Physically located in Arizona. If you or someone you know has a gambling problem, wants help, call 1-800-NEXT-STEP. Text NEXT STEP to 53342. Visit problemgambling.az.gov.
Hit that like button. This could be a tricky show to navigate because right now, it's tough. It's tough to talk about people. It's tough to talk about jobs, people we like, people we respect, but I think the biggest thing, certainly the people who have gotten to know you and I, Bo, is like, we'll be transparent when necessary. And we have been incredibly positive with this regime, mostly during their tenure. There's been some bumps in the road pertaining to like Ossenfort and free agency and certainly the collapse down the stretch of last year. But I would say like overwhelmingly, we have bought into their messaging and their mantra. And this is a day following their loss yesterday, where I know a large majority of the fan base is done with this regime, is done with head coach Jonathan Gannon. And it's changed seemingly on a dime. He was very much looked at by this fan base as an asset coming into this year. And now you watch the Cardinals basically collapse onto themselves for 3 straight 4th quarters en route to a 5-game losing streak. And it makes you question everything. And so we're going to do a deep dive here, but it's like I told Espo earlier today on Southwest Bias. Like, I think, let me just say this off the top. I think Gannon and Ossenfort are safe right now. Ask me in a month. Ask me in 6 weeks. Like, as much as I like them as people, and I think they're well-intended, right? Like, it's hard to follow Steve Keim and not be well-liked. Like, I just think, just for all transparency.
Yeah.
But at some point, Bo, it has to be about winning. Like, when does the winning start?
You would have thought that you would experience way more winning through 7 games than the Cardinals have. And I think Gannon said that much in his post-game presser yesterday, where he was just like, we didn't expect to be here at 2-5, riding a 5-game losing skid. Yeah, sometimes it's tough to be the guy that follows the guy after an immense amount of success. And then sometimes it's a little bit easier, as you mentioned, following a guy who kind of, fell out of grace for the fan base, many years before his eventual exit. But, the Arizona Cardinals just finding new ways, parodies of itself now in the fourth quarter to lose football games. The difference between the team that we witnessed through the first three quarters and the team that we see in the fourth quarter, it's unbelievable. I mean, just as far as total points scored, Johnny, I put this out there. Cardinals have given up 78 total points between the first three quarters of the first 7 games combined. 78 points, first three quarters, first 7 games. 76 points given up in the fourth quarter alone in the 7 weeks of play. That's just 2-point differential between 3 quarters of play through the most of the way and 1 quarter of play. I mean, it's significant. It's drastic as far as the team that we witnessed that start games and build leads and then reach an historic point where in the last 3 games, they've had a 7-point or more, lead going into the fourth quarter and have squandered that to lose the game. It's really unbelievable. This is a bit of uncharted waters as you start to try to evaluate teams, organizations, coaches, execs, players, when you just continually lose, and it's in the fashion that they are, where they're, fighting tooth and nail for each and every game. But it's tough because you're evaluated at the end of the day on the results, on wins and losses. And there's just been far too many losses so far. And there has to be some sort of pivot by the organization.
And again, I think you and I have been pretty consistent with our take. The complaining about, or the rationalizing this by, well, they're only losing by a couple points here and there. What are we doing? This is year 3. This should be the culmination. This should be the crescendo. You should be one of the best teams in the NFL. You should be competing for this division. And we got people in this media market talking about, well, they've only lost by X amount of points. Okay. Right. If you're okay with that, then that tells me you're okay with losing forever. I don't think Jonathan Gannon is okay with that. And Mike's right. Losing is losing. But what I don't love the optics of talking about, and I said this on yesterday's postgame show, I don't love the optics of talking about, we're not getting our break speed in. We're not losing badly every week. No one cares how you're losing.
Right.
And it's noble right now, I guess, that the team hasn't quit and they've showed fight with a backup quarterback. But does anybody think this is sustainable? I've been watching pro football my entire life. Most of the time when seasons start like this, if you can't get it turned around, teams start to lose faith. Teams start to lose belief. It falls on deaf ears. There is a distinct mental breakdown happening with this team in the fourth quarter every week where they feel like it's inevitable that they're going to blow this. And where does that come back to? It comes back to coaching. I want to embrace this regime. I watch Jonathan Gannon. Of course, he's been on our show. I watch him in pressers. I love his messaging. I love how the players responded to him previously. But you can't sustain this. You're 14-27. We're going to pull up a graphic here in a little bit. This is just, you play, as Herm Edwards said, to win the game.
Oh,
they have to start. I'm sorry. It's a tough subject here on Monday.
No.
All that matters is winning games. That's it. Right. And we're going to talk about Kyler, Jacoby, blah, blah. That doesn't, that's icing on this big loser cake right now. I don't care if you have to win a game. You put Bam Knight back there and run, an H-back dive 10 times in a row. Damn. Whatever it takes. And right now, you're in a position where nothing you do is right. So why should I believe that this is the right regime to navigate us out of this?
Good teams don't lose 5 in a row.
No.
Think about, is it a poker game? It's like losing 10 consecutive hands.
Right.
It's even if you get bad cards each and every hand, you should be able to find your way just by being a decent poker player and finding your way to a pot. And they can't bluff their way. They can't figure out anyway. Now they're just finding ways to lose, from Tennessee to Indianapolis to yesterday at Green Bay.
Right.
You find it 4th and 1, money in the bank play. Jacoby Brissett just dives forward, a QB sneak, a play that's worked now a handful of times this season, enough to where you're we're on our side of the field. This is a risky play, but we have so much confidence in this play call. We're going to run it, and they don't get it done. You got your 4th overall pick where you're marching down the field offensively. Things are grooving, and on a crucial 3rd down, he nearly fumbles the ball into the other team's hands once again. It would have been at least a 1st down, it becomes thankfully an incompletion, but you would have been moving offensively. I mean, even with the team for a third consecutive week getting over 300 yards total offensively, what was it? It was up towards 400 yesterday, right? I mean, again, like they were good offensively. They just couldn't get it done. They continued to turn into a pumpkin in the fourth quarter defensively and just couldn't find a way off the field and sustained yet another just crushing, crushing, soul-crushing blow.
Yeah. I mean, listen, I want to believe that this team can get themselves out of this. And here's the reality of this situation. They have 10 more games to go. They're going to get 10 more games. But I'm not going to say anything other than, well, if they don't turn it around during that 10-game span, I'm going to come on this show and I'll let both speak for himself. He has to go and sit with Jonathan Gannon and the media every day. But like, if this team continues this trajectory and they end up the season with 4 or 5 wins, like you have to make changes top to bottom. This is not a message you can send to your fan base of like, guys, this is an anomaly how we lost these games. It's not going to happen again. We're going to get this figured out. Part of this too is the optics right now with Gannon and Petzine and Kyler and Jacoby. Like, it's not like you lost. It's not like Kyler Murray was some like super known commodity and you lost your franchise quarterback and that, like, Baltimore stinks this year. Their entire defense got hurt and Lamar Jackson's out. Yeah, we expect them to lose, right? The Cardinals have had overwhelmingly better players in most of these losses. After being 6-3 at home last year, they're already 1-3 at home. So it's not like I can sit here and say like, well, when they get X player back next year, this will be correctable. I have not seen this regime win. You have had 41 games. You are overwhelmingly losing 2 out of every 3. Like you almost have twice as many losses as wins. So to sit here in January, if this continues to spiral and say like, we'll just run this back, even with a fresh coat of paint of new coordinator, new quarterback, like what are the expectations? Like, to me, it's like right now, Gannon and Ossenfort are safe. If this continues, they are not. And you're better off, especially if you net yourself a top 5 draft pick, GM, head coach, quarterback this offseason. Check every box. Don't pull a Chicago and one offseason you replace this and the next one you do that. I mean, like, fair or not. This is my last point on this, Bo.
Yeah.
They decided when they took this job that Kyler Murray was going to be part of their rebuild, right? And they had 3 off seasons to say like, okay, we like Kyler. Maybe we don't love him. Let's go get Jackson Dart. Let's go get Sam Darnold. Let's go get somebody else. Let's get an heir apparent. And they said, no, we're going to build the team around Kyler. Kyler maybe has underperformed, but certainly you cannot argue the fact that this defense was handpicked players, mostly healthy, a bust right now. Jacoby Brissett looks better than Kyler Murray. That's a bust for this coaching staff. The draft picks aren't panning out from last year. There's nothing for them to hang their hat on to say, look, fan base, we're the right people. Not yet. You got 10 games to change everybody's mind.
Yeah, you've got a holdover from the previous regime that, as we pointed out, was hated. And it's like Trey McBride is the only guy that's living up and just continuing to deliver for this team with 2 touchdowns yesterday. And, in the top 3 in every major statistically category at his position. He's the man. Trey rules.
Yeah.
As far as the rest of this team, like it's tough to wrap your arms around it. Paris Johnson Jr., I'll give him his flowers as well. But outside of that, just not a whole lot where you're just saying that's working. That's really humming along, and the Cardinals can, like, when things get tough, just lean on it. But it's like when you talk about the Cardinals, like, we thought 3 games into the season, Nick Rallis in this defense, they're going to be good. Don't worry about Nick Rallis in this defense. Maybe for getting to like weeks 5, 6, and 7, that's probably where we were like, oh shoot, like, the defense didn't answer the call when necessary. And like, we thought it was just a product of the offense putting them in tough situations, where that's not the case any longer. Like, when you have 21 points scored in the second half after a strong start where you only give up 6, and you probably shouldn't have given up 6. Like, you have to point to the defense, especially the last 2 weeks, as which side let you down the last 2 weeks, and you have to point to that side of the football. So now it's like now you're finding equal footing as far as who's taking the blame now. Like no longer is it like Drew Petzing, taking on the bulk share of the blame pie here.
Right. No, it's very much like the thing you're supposed to be good at in year 3, like Nick Rawls, Jonathan Gannon, your players, Josh Sweat, handpicked, Calais, Dalvin Tomlinson. Good Lord, we got to watch Akeem Davis-Gaither tackle literally nobody, right? All your corners, all your safeties. You're the worst defensive team in the NFL in the fourth quarter.
Yeah.
And I posted this on Twitter. I thought it was interesting. Like none of their quarterbacks have interceptions. Why is that?
Right. Well, you look at the pressure rate, right? Like as far as the sack percentage, like 1.9% in the fourth quarter. It's the worst in the league by a lot.
They're averaging less than 1 takeaway per game, worse than last year. I mean, like,
and look at what happens with Green Bay when they need to make a big play.
They make
Micah Parsons his bat signal goes up and he makes the play and wins them the game.
This is the NFL, man. You only get anointed so much time. This is as clear of a painting as we can put this whole thing situation in. They are running out of time. This season could not go this way for you to remain employed, and it's gone exactly the way you couldn't have happened. What are the boxes that you're checking for that to happen? Number one, you have zero clarity on your quarterback. Zero, right? Like at least Dable's got Jackson Dart, and you can go to Joe Shane and everybody else, ownership, the Mara family, and say like, well, I've got Jackson Dart playing well. You don't want to mess with that. Cardinals don't have that. They have no quarterback clarity right now. Number two, you're losing games. You're going to have a losing record, and it could have a crooked number. You could have double-digit losses in a fourth-place finish. And then number three, like the stuff with Gannon being fined by Bidwell and all that, like that stuff matters when it's contextualized with everything else. You're having the season from hell. You're having a nightmare season that subsequently leads to this kind of thing. So like those are the rules. We didn't write them. This is how things work in the NFL. Yeah. If you don't win enough, you lose your job. Even if the set of circumstances was like you knew the job you took over. You knew when you're Ossenfort and Gannon. It's like, we know the Cardinals' reputation. We know Kyler Murray's hit. But it's like, guys, and this is like, people are going after Michael Bidwell, and I get it. It's an easy target. Everything we know. Jonathan Gannon came on the show and said Michael Bidwell has been an awesome owner since he's taken over. And we know wholeheartedly, in front of and behind the scenes, Jonathan Gannon and Monti Ossenfort have called every single shot from a football operations standpoint.
Yeah.
They have put new procedures in place, nutrition pro. They have run the football operations, which is part of the reason why I am hesitant to cut bait with them because of all the good they're doing off the field, because they're bringing the franchise up to the 21st century. But then you watch them on Sunday and they're a disaster.
Yeah, it's tough, right? You want to see them. How dare you, Cody? Don't you dare point out any crutches, my co-host. We're talking about coaching staff. Let's stay focused here.
What about their crutches?
Yeah. Subsequently, Johnny has a crutch. Look, it is something you want to see them see it through, because they have laid the foundation for something that I think can be good. I don't think you can cast this entire roster to the side. It's not like the next people who get their hands on this organization potentially are going to be like, well, we got to burn this thing to the ground. This has no pieces like the previous part of it. But you're right. I mean, there's been so many things that have gone catastrophically wrong that have made people question this organization, and that's what you just can't have. And if the losing continues, as much as beloved as the head coaches and the staff and the front office, there will be questioning of, why did you make us continue to go on like this? Why did we continue with this coordinator? Why did we continue to call the game like this? Why was this our philosophy at the end of the games? And it will start to create a divide. It happens. It inevitably happens in any organization. It does. And it's especially when the losses pile up, people start to find out why the hell it's happening. And unfortunately, like, you can start to find things. It's very, apparent what some of the issues are. It's the fourth quarter defense. Early on, it's some play calling, but also you see with the way that Jacoby Brissett's played, that there's an exposure of your starting quarterback. Can he run this offense? And like all these questions are right there. And you're only 7 weeks into this season, and you're riding a 5-game losing streak, which is usually reserved for the worst of the worst in the NFL, not teams that have as much talent on the roster as the Cardinals.
Your players are regressing. I'll put that on there. You hired the wrong offensive line coach by the look of it, and you let your best coach leave. You let your best coach walk out the door. And the guy who replaced, and I love Justin Fry as a person. He's been on the show. They're terrible. They gave up 6 sacks yesterday. They can't run block anymore. And then, we think Marvin Harrison's good. He has 2 catches yesterday. And then I look at all the charts this morning, and he's like the 8th best receiver running routes in terms of production plus penalties in the NFL. It's just can't get him the football. It's just, it's insane. And it goes back to Jonathan Gannon and Monti Ossenfort, in my opinion, are tied at the hip too. I'm of the mindset, if you're going to get rid of Gannon, you need to get rid of Monti. I don't Monti Ossenfort hired Jonathan Gannon. Their visions are aligned. Ossenfort has had so many resources. He's created them. He cut DeAndre Hopkins and got nothing for DeAndre Hopkins. And he gave away Isaiah Simmons for a ham sandwich. And we all sat there and we all said, we're taking it in the teeth now. We get it, right? Going to training camp with Bo in 2023 and watching Colt McCoy and his rag arm be done and looking at that team stripped down. They look like an expansion level team, but there are brighter days ahead.
Right.
You fast forward 2 years later, they are firmly the worst team in their division. They are not even in the same ballpark. I don't care how close they were. All that matters is wins and losses. They have not beaten the Seahawks in this regime. The Niners with no players beat them, exposed Drew Petzing. And we saw what the LA Rams have done this year. So it just, at the end of the day, it just comes down to the people involved a lot. Love them. Love JG. You have to win games. Yeah. And I think unequivocally right now, this franchise and this specific regime does not know what that looks like on Sunday. They don't.
And, with this organization where it was just a rudderless ship, right? In 2022, and they were looking for some outside eyes to get on it for the first time in nearly 3 decades. And a lot of the good that's come out of that, it's you almost have to do it again. You also have to get more outside perspective and we like these guys, but how can we get them to the next step? Because they're not they've hit a ceiling here. Because what is the old adage? It's you lose by a lot, then you lose by a little, then you win by a little, then you win by a lot. We're stuck by the lose by a little part. And this is year 3. You should have been graduated on to the win by a little part, at least to avoid a 5 effing game losing streak, which we're enduring right now. That's reserved for the Titans organization. The Titans haven't even lost 5 straight this season. We stopped them from doing that, which is unbelievable. Which still is the biggest blemish in indictment on this organization. Huh?
I think the Titans could go winless the rest of the year.
Yeah,
I mean
they should have a defeated season. They should join that Lions team and that Browns team and have a defeated season. They're that bad.
And here's another thing.
Tyler Lockett was please get me out of here. I'm washed, but I still don't deserve this.
I saw a clip from another market here locally that said that something to the effect of the fourth quarter is attributed to the talent on this team. No, incorrect. The Cardinals have players, and they don't have players who picked this team. The general manager has had 3 it all comes back. This regime is in charge. They signed Akeem Davis-Gaither. They allowed Bilal Nichols to hang around. He looked atrocious again yesterday. They moved Mack Wilson Sr. out of his premier spot last year as that tweener hybrid role, kicking ass and taking names. Where is he? Buda Baker, they extended him. Absent on game days now. The players are the players. The Ossenfort and Gannon, their fingerprints are all over this. So it's not a player problem. You want to use that excuse when you inherit players and it's not your team and you're the joke of the NFL 2 years ago, fine, do that. When people thought you were tanking, you can't use players as an excuse now.
Right.
Get that. That is such a loser mentality. This team is losing because the people in charge of the football operations have not done enough to ensure that they become winners. whatever that looks like. And again, that's nothing personal. It's just, this is a results business.
Yeah. We'll take a real good look at this tenure under this regime, plus what the Cardinals plan to do during the bye week as they lick their wounds from their 5th straight loss. We're going to get into it all next. PHNX Cardinals.
Man, fired up. The only saving grace is we did do pretty well on our pregame parlay yesterday. We had the over, and then we hit some other tasty nuggets pertaining to maybe a Trey McBride anytime touchdown. So things are looking up for us on the betting scene. Did not take the Cardinals money line here nor there, but we are taking the football early payout offer with college and pro football with our friends at Bet365, the official sports betting partner of PHNX. If your team goes up by 17 points, you're a winner. Regardless of how the game ends, you can turn the game off. No sweat bet. Right now, PHNX 365 is the bonus code to get $200 in bonus bets. When you bet $5, win or lose, so simple. Sign in, use the code PHNX 365, deposit $10. Place a bet for $5 to get $200 in bonus bets. If your team wins or loses, bonus bets can be used on spreads, totals, player props, futures, or whatever the moment. Never ordinary with Bet365. You got to be 21 years and older, physically located in Arizona. If you or someone you know has a gambling problem, wants help, call 1-800-NEXT-STEP. Text NEXT STEP to 53342 or visit problemgambling.az.gov for more info.
We used to think that we needed a set of shady raids because our future was so bright. Like we needed those, right? But now it's to hide the tears in our eyes after another loss. That's right. Just hide the depression, the bags in our eyes from sleepless nights, whatever the reason. Maybe it's just outdoor adventuring, maybe something a little bit less bleak. We'll go with that, right? Shady Rays is the best set of sunglasses you can get for the best price you can find for these premium polarized shades. Over 300,000 people have spoken, and they say 5 stars for these premium polarized shades, which they've got a style for everyone. As you, men, women, children, Shady Rays has something for everybody. You can save some money while just being a listener, viewer of this podcast. 35% off premium polarized sunglasses from Shady Rays. Use that code at shadyrays.com and you'll save big on a price point that's already very affordable. Check it out. Get something for you. Get something for your friends, your family. Perfect gift. We've teamed up with Shady Rays to bring you that exclusive offer. Head over to shadyrays.com. Use the code PHNX for 35% off premium polarized sunglasses. Try for yourself. The shade's rated 5 stars by over 300,000 people. Shady Rays, shadyrays.com. Use that promo code PHNX.
Do us a favor, hit that like button. This is the accountability train for this franchise right now that's staring down the barrel of their 4th straight losing season. So times are tough for this franchise. Just how tough has the go been under Monti and Jonathan Gannon? Again, they came here with the promise of execution, efficiency. Gannon had talked about he wanted killers, and I embraced it, as did you. I thought they were the right people at the time to get this team back with, modern football. And the biggest thing is, what did we talk about? Sustained winner. Going through the rigors of building through the draft and understanding the importance of line of scrimmage play. Not quick fix Steve Keim. Well, I mean, the jury's still out. We got 10 more games to go, but here it is. Through 41 games, JG and Ossenfort, their tenure, again, hired in the spring, winter of 2023. 14-27 after 41 games and just 3-11 versus the NFC West. They went 0 for their first year, 500 against the division last year, and this year already 0-2. They have 0 playoff bursts, 0 winning seasons, and 0 for Ossenfort Pro Bowlers drafted. On top of this, Bo, they have a losing record at home thus far in their 3rd season and are firmly the worst team in the NFC West. If things continue at that route, they will have 2 of their 3 years as the last place team in the division. Last year, they were 3rd to last. In their last 14 games, they are 4-10. Thoughts, questions, comments, concerns?
Oh, man. Those numbers are just horrific. And that's what a bad start, coming off of a 2-year rebuild will do. Like you have to show like, hey, all that, as you were mentioning, all that losing that we prepared you for, and like we punted on the 2023 season in with as a necessary evil to get the draft picks, to reshape the roster, just start from scratch. It was all worth it because we're going to come out of the other side and there's going to be winning on it. And there hasn't been. It's been far from it. It's been 2 trying victories that felt like losses, followed by 5 consecutive losses. And it's just like even the wins didn't feel like wins. And that's what coupled with those numbers in the finish to last year. It's just like you see that little run, and it's tough for you to say, hey, like that's what it's going to be. Like when they ripped off 4 straight to go into the bye in 2024, and we're 6-4 atop the NFC West standings, and it looked like they were made in the shade, and this was going to be the turning point.
Yeah,
it was just a little blip. It was a little fluke, and now the effort becomes Herculean in order to sway people's perception of what they've witnessed now over almost 2.5 seasons.
You have to become the Lions of a couple of years ago. Noah sent that where they started like 1-6 or 2-5 and ran the table. The Philadelphia Eagles,
somebody brought that up.
2-5, they made the playoffs. Somebody had mentioned Zay Jones in the presser. Jags were 2-5, made the postseason. Like that's what it's going to take. We need to be able to sit here because again, not calling for people to get fired today. We're just somebody like labeled me like as rage bait because I'm pulling this data and I'm putting it on Twitter. I'm like, rage bait. Yeah. Are you not? Do you guys? Some of you don't experience. What? Do you guys not watch the games on Sunday?
Right.
We're just sick of this team losing. I'm not okay with losing. I guess other people are, and they want 4 or 5 year rebuilds. That's not how the NFL works. We're not. It's not the Pittsburgh Pirates.
Give them more time, Johnny. Give them more time.
Yeah, here I am. They have 10 more games because
I got the same accusations just by simply posting the offensive numbers under Kyler Murray and Jacoby Brissett, and people came after me saying that I was going after Kyler when they were just straight stats, and I'm sure you're tweeting out your rage bait is just pure. It's just facts and stats.
It's like, guys, no one wants this team, respectfully, to be more viable and fun and marketable than the people who cover it.
Right.
We're not going to sit up here and tell you that everything's fine. And our audience, I'm not talking about our audience, just in general.
Right.
Like, guys, they're a disaster. This is a disaster season. This is the kind of season where Michael Bidwell, no matter, and I love that JG name dropped Bidwell in the press conference to just kind of signal like everything's fine. We still talk. It's like, Michael Bidwell, as flawed as you may think he is as an owner, has to go to shareholders and a board of directors and most importantly, his fan base in January and look everybody in the eye and say, guys, it's okay. It's going to be okay. And right now, they're on pace right now to be one of the worst teams in the NFL. In year 3 of what should have been the crescendo. I don't know, man. We have to be able to sit here in January at the end of the year, after the final game, and say, I get where they're going. I understand the vision. They're doing this. Walter Nolan's ascending. Marv looks awesome. The offense got it going. The defense has been elite for a month and a half. Like, if they do those things, and obviously wins have to follow, and they go 500 in the division, okay, then you're going to be able to get people back on board, right? Still not going to get everybody. There are people that Gannon and Ossenfort have lost completely. But I think at the end of the day, it's like, save for that, people are going to say, where's my new GM? Where's my new head coach? Where's my new quarterback? I need a palate cleanser because right now, the only thing that's consistent about this team is losing. Like I expect them to lose now when I watch them, which is the wrong feeling to have in year 3 of a rebuild.
That Eagles team went 7-2 after a 2-5 start. Like how many games did that Lions team won? 7 in a row,
right?
After that start, Noah. I mean, you're asking for them to just go on. They have to go on a run. That's the corner you've backed yourself into to get back in. Like because you're right. Like there's not, if you go 8-9. You've already lost. Like you lost people at 2 and 5.
Yeah.
Like there's just not. There's not going to be enough data for people to be like, you know what? They did get it. They did finally find it, and I trust that they can parlay it. I mean, Coach Jonathan Gannon didn't even believe in momentum himself. Like you have to. Like there is no momentum. Like what are you building towards? How are you getting? the confidence and regaining confidence in the play calling and in the investments as far as draft picks and players, you have to show significant growth. And that would be in as far as a run like 7-2 or ripping off, 5 games in a row. Like you just lost 5 games in a row.
So Fresh saying, so everything you've been saying for 2 years is wrong, Johnny? Like about what? About like, yeah, am I wrong right now? Are we wrong that we thought that these were the right people? Sure. Like they were 6-4 at the bye week last year, and they looked much more competent in the division, and there were baby steps to winning. And I was disappointed in how they collapsed last year, as was Bo. And you and I were pretty consistent. I'm like, I would probably switch coordinators, but they didn't. And I said, you know what? Benefit of the doubt. We knew they were going to spend money this offseason. They did. We knew they'd have another draft class. We knew that the 2024 class had a chance for a pop year. I said, and they're going to have an easy schedule, which they've had. I said, give them the benefit of the doubt. They've improved. How many people? There were a lot of people, Fresh, that were in our mention saying they went from 4 to 8. Let this process play out. So, and then you're around Gannon, and it's like the NFLPA grades don't happen by accident. The players love Gannon. And we've seen the change off the field that they inhibited on Bidwell and company. Like, it's just been overwhelmingly positive. So it has been a long road, but it's one that I think Bo and I firmly thought, like, even if they were middling around this year, like I thought 9 wins was pretty assured. When you're playing the AFC and NFC South, when you're playing the quarterbacks that they've faced, Mac Jones and Cam Ward, and you're losing, that is indefensible.
Right.
You're not playing Josh Allen, Joe Burrow, and Lamar Jackson.
And those were the signs, right? I mean, there was the 2023 season where they played, and stayed with some competition that roster pound for pound, like they were, fighting, above their weight class a lot of the entirety of the season. They weren't favored in any of those games. And then last year, even with the slide at the end that cost them, the division and the ability to play in the postseason, like they took care and they stomped on worse teams. Like those are signs. And then it's like, okay, you take the next step and then you're competing and winning games against, 500 or better teams, which you should be yourself. And it's like all of that, like with all that data, they regressed. So it's like, I mean, look across any sports, like who are the people that are really forecasting regressions? It's tough to. It's it's easy to forecast progress because you can see it and it's usually linear. Here, it's like it's tough, especially with a young team, a draft and developed team, to say, hey, they're going to take a gigantic step back.
They are the biggest disappointment in the NFL. The Jets and the Titans, nobody took them seriously before this year. Everybody laughed at people have been saying dead franchise walking for the Dolphins the entire offseason. The Giants, the Browns, those were the teams that we penciled in before the year. Like, they're going to be bad.
Giants and that collapse yesterday.
Yeah.
Like, I'm sure their fan base hates it. It's New York, right? But at the same time, they saw their team put up, 32 points and like continue to be a fun watch.
Right. And they've got Scatterboo and Dart, and they'll have neighbors coming back, and they'll have a new coach and a new GM, and they'll say, we got some mojo. The Cardinals are the biggest disappointment in the NFL. They had an over-under of 8.5. You couldn't get plus money on the over. Vegas told us before the season, they're impartial, they're objective, that the Cardinals were going to win 9+ games this year. And they're one of the worst teams in the NFL. Like, they're not one of the best worst teams or one of the worst good teams. They're just a bad team. When you lose 5 in a row, as my co-host said. So, like, we watch this team every year, every game. Bo is at every practice. We're at training camp, sun up to sundown. We look at all the players. We live and die with every transaction. Everything this year said, even if Kyler Murray is average, they should win 9+ games. It is unequivocally a coaching problem. They have been exposed offensively from a line of scrimmage and a play calling standpoint, an inability to tailor an offense around Kyler Murray, an inability to pivot off an offense that does better with Jacoby Brissett. And then Nick Rawls and Jonathan Gannon defensively in the fourth quarter have stunk. They have been terrible. And then situational awareness during the game on special teams has also bit them in the ass. They get, like, the coaching this year gets an F. You just can't argue it. And unfortunately, for a franchise right now where we want to believe in what they're doing, does anybody have faith if they fire Drew Petzing and they get a new OC that this team can accurately find the next quarterback of this franchise, that this regime is going to pick the right guy? I don't have confidence in that right now. How could you?
Yeah. Mike's saying it feels like I'm watching the same movie over and over again. But you're not like watching, The Dark Knight Rises. You're not watching The Godfather. You're not watching good cinema. You're watching like Chairman of the Board starring Carrot Top. Like you're watching just some awful
Madam Web. Is this Madam Web?
Madam Web. That's right. You're watching Madam Web or something that you catch on Cinemax late at night, which is no script. It's just it's awful. And it's heartbreaking week in and week out, but it's a great point, Mike. No, more like we are going to hear update on Kyler Murray from Jonathan Gannon, plus what he expects his team to do, how they're going to fix things during the bye week, and also an update, BJ Ojulari, Walter Nolan. It's all coming up next, PHNX Cardinals.
Hit that like button for your boys. Here's the thing. Like, everybody loves a rebuild times two. Bo and I are going to cover this puppy every step of the way. And the only way I'm going to get through it fiscally, financially responsible is with our friends at Desert Financial Credit Union, because they've got my back for more than 84 years. Desert Financial has been Arizona's largest, most trusted local credit union, dedicated to creating exceptional experiences by giving back to the community and providing financial solutions that make lives better. Look to Desert Financial for checking, savings, mortgages, loans, credit cards, investment options, and more. Join a credit card or a credit union that's committed to giving back to the community, sharing successes with their members. Open up a free checking account online, by the way. You're going to get $200 in bonuses. All you got to do, get started by visiting desertfinancial.com/200, Bo, to get going.
Yeah, my co-host is taking it on the chin and social media right now. We'll get to why that is here shortly. Driving in Phoenix can be unpredictable. From dust storms to bumper-to-bumper traffic, the last thing you want to worry about is your auto insurance. That's why so many Arizona drivers trust Axis Insurance Agency of Arizona. For more than 15 years, Axis Insurance Agency of Arizona has been proud to provide affordable auto insurance for drivers throughout the Phoenix metro area. Trusted part of the local community, Axis Auto helps Arizona drivers get covered with flexible policy options and commitment to working with all types of IDs, driving histories, and license types. With bilingual Spanish-speaking agents at 9 convenient Valley locations, Axis is ready to help customers find the right protection and uncover valuable discounts. Axis Auto, trusted by the community, rooted in Phoenix, and ready to help. All statements are subject to terms, exclusions, and conditions are applicable policy. In all insurance, the current policy contract language prevails. Coverage is subject to individual policyholders meeting in the underwriting qualifications and state availability. Other terms, conditions, and exclusions may apply.
Hit that like button right now. Times are tough for everyone, including your boy. See, this is like, let's share what's happening right now on social media, Bo.
Sure.
Because I'm being labeled as too much of a hater right now, where I was once upon a time more optimistic, Bo.
Yeah, you were. You're taking strays all over the place. Actually, not just strays. I mean, people are coming right at you. How about Kyle Odegaard coming after, or some people pointing out that you would have taken the over on the Cardinals win total, and Kyle pushed back, and now to pay up for this, instead of owing him money, he wants you to post your worst take?
I mean, he wants me to go through the thread.
Just in as far as that conversation?
Yeah.
Okay.
And he wants
like worst take. I mean, where do you even
some bad ones out there.
Where either of us start to try to find
you and I
out.
have had a bad year.
Yeah.
Remember when I said give me 9 wins and a playoff win, and people were like, never, loser. But then now I said the Cardinals, I'm like, sleepwalk to 11 wins. Like, we had over under 10 wins, Odegaard, and then a 10 would have been a push. And Odegaard basically had them at 9 or 8, and I had them at 11. And it's just like, sometimes you're just wrong. And like, listen, some of us are like, or some people think we're too close to the situation. There are media outlets in this market that are too close. I think where Bo and I like can sleep well at night is like we serve and respond to only the 400 people every day in this chat. Like, we're very fortunate the access we get, and we're respectful with it, which is number one. You have to be. But like, if you think that I'm afraid or my co-host is afraid to post or say something that is factually true because it's going to get us in trouble with the regime, then we shouldn't do this show. If that's how we're going to operate, I wouldn't want to consume somebody that does that. I couldn't come up here and do this show every day and say one thing while my eyes tell me something else. Like, I have never been more invested in wanting to see a head coach succeed than Jonathan Gannon. He's a genuinely great guy, great person. We've gotten to know him. They stink right now. You have to win games. They are one of the worst teams in the NFL the last year, dating back to when we cut break for the bye. It's like, I'm not going to come on here and slap makeup on this pig or whatever the phrase is. It's just like, guys,
pig on a pig.
Yeah.
Right. Don't hit animals. I can't believe Johnny just was saying he'd slap a pig
around.
PETA, get on this man right now, along with all the social media pushback he's getting right now. He doesn't deserve it, damn it. He doesn't deserve it. No, I mean, like, I'm as much as sometimes it makes me laugh to see like Grant Cohn, who covers the San Francisco 49ers, he has like no filter. Like, I have a filter to an extent. Like, I'm not going to sit there and just shoot from the hip. Like, you're not going to get that, like this unhinged type of like media presence. But yeah, I'm with you, man. I mean, it's been a rough year because we did have a sense of conviction as far as the people in place and where they could take this organization in year 3. And we look horribly wrong because of it. It's so like, now you're start saying like 11 games. How are they going to win another game? Like, and you know, it's going to happen. It's inevitable, right? They're not that bad, but at the same time, like, they're giving you zero confidence going in and week out. It's like, when that next win is going to come. Like, are they going to be able to go on the road against Dallas, who had a really strong win over Washington, who had Jaden Daniels for the bulk of it, and they were just kicking their ass for the first half and continued throughout the game? Another 40-burger from Schottenheimer and Clayton Adams and Dak Prescott with CeeDee Lamb back. Like, they're trending in the right direction. So, yeah, it pains us to say it, but at the same time, it doesn't. Like, because that's what this show is every day. Like, we're gonna get too high, and then we're probably gonna get too low, and we're also gonna give you somewhere in the middle. But we're not gonna heel turn and say, "Hey, we saw it all along," because that's also horse crap.
Yeah, that's gross when people are like that. Like, listen. Here's where I'm at. Like, I want them to turn it around. Like, as much as it probably. Like, you have to weigh what's best for this franchise. What's best is if they bottom out and they get a quarterback, maybe, or is it Jonathan Gannon and Monti Ossenfort finding the pulse of this team and winning games, down the stretch to be able to ride that into the offseason? Like, that might be equally as important. The impact that Gannon and Ossenfort have off the field right now with Bidwell and company might be equally as important as bottoming out. I don't know, because look at the candidates, and that, like, Bo and I were so convinced Cliff Kingsbury was going to be fired. We had been tipped off. Kime was a no-show. Like, we were doing Sean Payton watch and coaching hierarchies for free agent candidates in November. Like, we're not going to do that this time around.
Right.
We're gonna take this week to week. But like, they have the hardest strength of schedule left. They still have the bulk of their divisional games. Most of them are on the road. I can't sit here and justify more losses. That's something I will never do. Especially, like, I get it. You needed some time to build out this roster. Like, Mike McDonald wins 10 games year 1. Like, they just, if it's unfair, it's because of the barometer in the NFC West. I get that. But like, okay, then lose your games in the NFC West, but take care of business outside the division. They can't even do that. Tennessee is a fireable offense. And if they lose this season in this locker room, it's going to be because of the Titans game. Yeah. That is something that has been very, like, they needed to rally off of that quickly. And what they do in subsequent weeks, they've had their 2 worst defensive performances. That's probably the biggest indictment of anything that's happened in season so far, is that your head coach was dragged through the media and you had a horrifically bad loss. And then the next 2 weeks, you have no show defensively.
Right. And if you think that incident on the sidelines is a thing of the past, I was asked about it on Sunday by Packers reporter who was getting my thoughts, wanted to know, like, where things stand now.
Yeah.
What, 10, 15 days later. It's like, to people from the outside perspective, that was a way bigger deal than I think it was locally. But there's a big time question that I asked my co-host here in a bit, but we need to get to, of course, what happened out in Tempe today. We talked to the Cardinals head coach, and let's talk about the quarterback first and foremost. An update on Kyler Murray. Not much of an update.
Yeah, we'll see how it goes. Keeps trending. Yeah, nothing's changed, Bob.
But you won't examine it this week or entertain thoughts on it?
Nothing's changed, Bob.
I'm going to examine the quarterback position, talking to Bobby McManaman, Bobby Mack of AZ Central there. Bob was asking, are they going to evaluate the quarterback position? Gannon maintains nothing's changed. And then earlier in the presser, he said that Kyler is trending, trending, I would assume, in the right direction. But, you've got how many days between now and that game? What is it, about 14, 15 days between now and when they play again? So it's, I think 14 days to now, right? So it's you would assume that Kyler is going to be 100% healthy, but are they going to continue to ride that card out? That's something that remains to be seen. As far as JG and trying to flip this narrative that we've been talking about.
You said it, not me. I won't use that word. I would say we have had adversity hit us since I've been here. And we are in it now, right? And there's only one way to kind of flip the narrative, which I feel really confident with how we're going to do that, and we're going to put our best foot forward, put all the energy and effort into flipping it, and then let the chips fall, but I do feel good about what we're going to do when we get back here on Monday.
Okay. I think he knows now, Johnny, that nobody's going to listen to what he says. I mean, there was probably 3 cliches in there, but I think it's now, like, everybody knows what the score is, and it's nothing's going to change until the Cardinals show you that they're a different team than they've been, to start this season.
Nobody trusts them. They shouldn't trust them. They've been a losing team for a year. And here's what I'll say about, like, the Jacoby Kyler Murray stuff. It is mind-boggling because of the stats my co-host posted, which I don't think we've have on the show, but Bo, like, paraphrase here. The Cardinals offense has been dramatically better with Jacoby Brissett. Like, it's inarguable.
Right.
They're one of the best third down teams in the NFL. They're averaging a touchdown more per game. They're averaging almost 100 yards more per game. I mean, like, we're not morons. Like, watch the game. It's different.
Right.
So my 2 schools of
100 yards passing more.
Right.
Yeah.
It's an NFL offense.
Yeah.
Here are my 2 schools of thought with this, because honestly, I don't care at this point. I don't care as long as it is the best for the team and they win a game, right? Who do they think is going to give them the best shot? If they play Kyler Murray, it's going to be because they feel like Kyler Murray gives them a better chance to win. Now, my personal opinion is you need to do one of 2 things. They won't do this, but this is what they should do. You either fire Drew Petzing and play Kyler Murray and have an offense for Kyler Murray that you believe can maximize his skill set, or you bench Kyler Murray because you believe in Drew Petzing and you play Jacoby Brissett. I am not interested in Kyler Murray and Drew Petzing anymore. I have seen that. We've had 20 plus games of that as an example. And then specifically for this year, that has been a losing product when those 2 are together. So I'm not the coach of this team. I'm not in charge of personnel. You pick whatever you feel like is best. Gannon, go with Petzing and Jacoby, or you want to go with K1 and Drew Terrell. I don't care. But it's in Gannon's best interest to play the better player and the better coach because of the fact that he has to win now. This isn't some experiment that this isn't Clayton Tune being, thrown to the wolves against Cleveland 2 years ago in a game. We know we can blow this game. We don't care. Kyler's coming back next week. So that's like all this to me. It's like, you're damned if you do, you're damned if you don't, but like they need to win this game. So they're not blowing you smoke if they play him.
Well, I mean, if there is some sort of trial basis here, I think it now falls on the shoulders and the legs of the quarterback. I mean, you're not going to fire an offense coordinator, even though it's the entirety of the resume. It's not just the last 2 weeks, but you're not firing your offensive coordinator after putting up, 25.5 points per game and 365 yards of total offense.
I mean, I think you said average, but you and I disagree on that.
You're just not going to be able. And I understand there's a little bit of not being able to see the forest through the trees there, just based on the last 2 weeks. But what now Kyler needs to prove is he has to now prove what, and you have to take it obviously with a grain of salt, what your head coach and your offensive coordinator is saying in the public eye, where they say, we can run this offense, and I think that Kyler Murray can run this offense just as well as Jacoby Brissett. Now you have to go put up. You have to put that on tape. And I know there's a lot of people out there that have already made their decision and come to the conclusion that they don't believe Kyler can.
No.
But they have to go out and say, this is the most effective offense. This is what our personnel has been forced into, and our play calling has to be, we have to run this offense. And there might be tweaks as far as Kyler does it, like as much as you want him to have to watch Jacoby and say, hey, there's benefits to sticking in that pocket and throwing. Can he do it? Can he stand, in the pocket and make those throws necessary? And then like at times have to take off where Jacoby doesn't have that same ability, but he has to prove that he can run this offense and run it just as well as Jacoby did.
Yeah, I don't think that's going to happen. But they seem to be comfortable with letting things play out, which I think it's a really tough decision here. But they are dramatically better with what they've been doing the last 2 weeks like that. And that's where, and this is where I'll push back on his messaging. You want these close games to somehow not be close. You're not playing the Titans and the Panthers and the Saints now and Mac Jones. If Kyler can't succeed in this offense, known to turn the football over, trying to throw over the middle of the field, this is where games are not going to be one score. Right. And we can hang our moral flag on that. This is when games get out of hand and you're losing by double digits.
Well, you can create 2-score leads by Marvin Harrison Jr. catching the ball and putting you in, close, knocking on the door to the red zone, right, on third down. Instead, you got a punt or not giving up with 7 seconds left, a 30-yard pass to where some guy who's set to become a preschool teacher or whatever the hell that stupid, good feeling, warm feeling story is for Green Bay.
Right.
Guy hit a 61-yarder, and you get, you're able to put the game into a 1-score game. There's another example of it in the second half where, you blow an opportunity to push and add to leads. You just can't do that, especially against good teams. You couldn't do it against Indy. Can't do it against Green Bay. They're going to come back and they're going to beat you more often than not.
You said you were going to ask me a question. I want to hear your question, but it's coming right around the corner as we go into overtime. We might have to change that here the next couple months.
Okay.
Everybody hit that like. Welcome to our many streaming partners, 400 people watching live. We got a robust amount of super chats. We got a pissed off fan base. And frankly, Mo and I are in lockstep as I left Chicken and Pickle yesterday in Glendale, and there were some gross Packer fans celebrating behind me during the broadcast yesterday with our guy Britton Golden. I'm walking to my car. They're in the parking lot. They're all over Glendale. And it's like, and I tweeted this out, it's like, I have sympathy for Gannon. I watch his pressers. I want him to do well. I love the players on this team. The quickest way to lose me is just, number one, watching that game yesterday and the collapse that continues, and then turning around. It's just like, you guys have enabled this with your losing. Yeah. Like if you guys didn't suck this bad, Cardinal fans would care. Cardinal fans wouldn't sell their tickets. They'd be enthused. I was at the game when they were 7-0. That place was rocking on Thursday Night Football. It was probably like 75-25 Cardinal fans to Packer fans. But right now you're just conceding. It feels like conceding to me.
Yeah, they don't deserve that. Like most of the Packers fans, it's like they buy Madden and they put it immediately on easy mode. That's what they want. Like most of them, they suffer from never been in the Wisconsin syndrome. They've never been there. Yeah, and they just said, hey, who's a team that consistently wins a lot and has a history to it, and then they lean on it. It's like, oh, we got all this history. Where's the history here? It's like, well, because you don't want to be a part of something special here. You just want to hold on to old traditions and make up some like family tie to it in the name of just being a bandwagon fan. Like literally, I was walking the stadium and a Packers fan yelled to another Packers fan, "Go Dodgers!" Like that like encapsulates it all right there. It's like you're a Dodgers, you're a Packers fan. Like it just makes too much damn sense.
Ohio State football, baby. Let's go.
Oh yeah. Duke basketball. Let's go. That's what Packers fans are about right there. It's not like good on the town and you love that. Like they own the team and all that romanticism and stuff like that. But that's not like what I witnessed out there. There's people born and bred in the Valley, unfortunately, that just hung on to it. My grandpappy, listen, he was there when Vince Lombardi was doing the old
Clay Matthews. Oh man, he was great. Who plays for us? Who do we get? Micah who? Okay, this is great. It's just, they're not living and dying with every transaction, but like, give them credit. Matt LaFleur like knows how to win. Like Jonathan Gannon to this
4th and 2, baby. Timeout. Actually, no, we're gonna go for it. Like that's the type of stuff you want. That's what you want. That's a killer, right?
And by the way, that's what he needs to do in that division to survive with Dan Campbell and Kevin O'Connell. And now, what we've seen from like Ben Johnson, they know like got.
There's no Ben Johnson this year. Like there's who's like the hot coordinator. It's all retreads, right? Yeah, there it is. My wife's Hank Hill with a great chat entry. My wife's boyfriend turned me on to the Packers, no doubt about it.
All right, give me with your question that you want.
Right, here's my question. Okay. In 2022, we could tell that things were trending towards Cliff being out. Like Keim was nowhere to be found. Yeah. Right. And there's stories about what that was, but unceremoniously he resigned. And then there's reports from Weinfuss and Jeremy Fowler that he was away from the organization since like early November. We see Bidwill start to tighten up his inner circle. No longer is this big, disaster of Steve Keim there any longer, giving him bad ideas. But as far as how things currently stand, whose corner, if either one of them's corner is Bidwill more in, Monti Ossenfort's or Jonathan Gannon's?
Oh man, it's a great question. Historically, I would say the head coach. Or the GM, excuse me, because of his ties to Keim, the fact that Keim had a 10-year leash. But I know like how close Bidwill and Gannon are. They're very close. This is not like Kingsbury being forced to watch tape with Bidwill on Monday mornings. Like that's not the relationship here. Right. Gannon has a lot of influence, and rightfully so. And I think Gannon pushes a lot of the right buttons off the field. I would say you can't. I'm of the mindset if you fire one, you have to fire the other. Like Ossenfort's players, a lot of them have been drafted for this regime. Like they wanted big physical wide receivers. They wanted specific defensive linemen. They wanted a specific kind of corner, right? Like, so that's why I think like right now, like they are safe. But if it becomes a point where like, if it comes down to a point where like Gannon has to be fired, then you have to fire Monti Ossenfort. Yeah. I would not let Monti Ossenfort pick a different coach. I would let them like, hey, we appreciate everything you both have done. But like, it's not like Monti Ossenfort engineered like a heist trade to rebuild this franchise or hit on 20 draft picks and the team. It's not like Brandon Staley where you felt like it's just the coach's fault. Like and this is kind of what makes this easy right now, but it was like they're collectively holding this L. Right. And like, that's why this situation with Petsy in the last 2 weeks, why he's not fired right now is like his units performed the last 2 weeks. Now it's the defense that's bad. The draft picks aren't performing. It's just like, hey guys, everything that you have told me you're going to do collectively, you're failing at right now. So you have 10 games to change it. I think they need to win 5 of the next 10 to be safe. I think they have to get to 7-10, which is dismal. But I think you need like a 500 record over your next 10, and some of those have to be divisional games. And the losses can't be ugly. Anything less than that, and we're sitting here and we're talking about a 6-loss season or a 6-win season or worse, I think you're looking at making a real change in January. What about you?
Yeah, I mean, I see you guys make some great points in the chat, and like we're gonna get to your super chats here shortly. But I think there's an interesting dynamic going on because like before in the past, it was Bidwill was firmly in the corner of the general manager. Like Steve Keim had been with the organization for 20 plus years and had taught Michael Bidwill, who was taking over the reins of the organization. This was even before Keim was general manager or the other positions he held in the front office, teaching Bidwell about team building. So he took it very seriously. And that's why Keim was able to exist as GM for 10 years, despite not a whole lot of success outside of BA. I think you see him all the time with Monti Ossenfort. You'll see him at training camp, and they'll sit together, and I'm sure they talk ball all the time. But I think what Gannon possesses the ability to vocalize what they're doing, how they're building this thing up, more so where Monti is just go out there and he's doing it. He's working with his scouts. He's working with his other front office execs and trying to build this roster where I think Gannon, and this is what makes him, why I respect him a lot, and I think he can be a good head coach, is how he can lead and teach, and I think that is with Michael Bidwell is very impressionable by that, and it would be a tough kind of like what's he gonna do there? I think he would lean more towards Gannon than he would Monti.
I agree with that 100%. I was of the mindset before the season started that Gannon was the second most powerful person in the organization, and that his influence. And I love that. Because up until this season, I thought like this is a guy that with an equal playing field can beat Sean McVay and Kyle Shanahan and Mike McDonald. Now he's losing to Brian Callahan a week before Brian Callahan's getting fired. I also Gannon had pushed all the right buttons pertaining to his own staff. And I just can't get over the loss of Clayton Adams and the doubling down on Drew Petzing. And the fact that they allowed this offensive regime to sit pat. And then, like, if you felt like Kyler Murray couldn't play in your offense and couldn't execute to your understanding, you needed to have a heart-to-heart moment with Ossenfort and Bidwell and be like, guys, we're not going to hit our ceiling. Drew is adamant we run this. I believe in Drew. Because right now, one of the worst, I think, kind of pictures that you're painting for your fan base is there are people who, like you and I, respect Kyler Murray. We want him to succeed. Two things are true right now. Drew Petzing's not changing his offense for Kyler Murray. Kyler Murray is not as effective running Drew Petzing's offense than Jacoby Brissett. If you're committed to having Kyler Murray run this offense, then you're going to have damaging returns. Like, they're not just a little bit better with Brissett and Drew Petzing's offense. They're dramatically better. They're dramatically better. And you also, I see a lot of people doing this, and I understand. They're using statistics of Kyler Murray last year and Drew Petzing's offense. The offense that Kyler Murray ran with Drew Petzing last year, while it's the same, it's nil and void. Why is that? Because their run game is dead on arrival without Clayton Adams. So Jacoby Brissett is running what the offense has to be now with a complementary run game. Can Kyler Murray do that? We have seen this year, it is not a good product. It's a losing product. And again, it's not an indictment on the person, the player, the study habits, video games, the size. Put all that aside and say Gannon is empowering Petzing. Petzing isn't tailoring the offense for Kyler or Marv or a lot of players. Petzing wants to run a very specific style of play. Jacoby Brissett is better for that right now. And then Gannon is enabling that. So I don't know what can be argued at that point. And that gives me a significant lack of belief in Jonathan Gannon long-term. That is probably the biggest indictment right now. It's like, how am I supposed to wrap my arms around this, JG?
Want to get to these super chats?
Yeah, let's table our off-season changes or bye week changes. Feels like the off-season. Bye week changes for tomorrow. And then reminder, I think we have Kurt Warner on Wednesday to try to shovel our way through this mess here.
We do have Kurt's going to join us. We got some guests lined up. Talk to Fran Duffy's, do some draft talk later this week as well. And we'll get into trending up, trending down. We just didn't even attempt it this Monday. We've been backburnering it seemingly every time we try to do it. Let's start with Ghost of Pat Tilley, $20.
Thank you so much, Ghost.
Catapult him to the top. The GOAT. 2-5. I've been a neutral K1 all along in pro JG. Both must go. You are what your record says you are. Close quote from Bill Parcells.
I mean, if Gannon and Ossenfort are gone, Kyler Murray's gone. I think right now, at minimum, barring a K1 run, I think Petzing and Kyler are gone. in January. As Benjamin Albright said, what felt like a week or 2 weeks ago, felt like a month ago, we had Ben on. I think right now it's like Kyler will be gone and Drew will be gone. And now we have jumped ahead to will Gannon and Ossenfort be gone. It's crazy how we've gone from coordinator and quarterback. And now, I mean, 5-game losing streak in year 3 of a rebuild. No one should be safe. Nobody.
Right. It's a sign things aren't trending the right direction. Eric Lambert, $5. Thanks, Eric. Are we getting Walter Street Clothes Nolan back this week? Now, Gannon said, it's going to be different for each and every player, but it sounds like Walter Nolan, quote, JG, is going to have big week. Sounds like he is going to be at the facility putting in work, preparing to return, hopefully for the Cardinals next game. That would give him 3 weeks of prep. He has to be activated by, believe, so this would be, he was last week, this week, and then next Wednesday.
I think he will play against the Cowboys on Monday Night Football. And I think there's a chance Garrett Williams could play as well. I think Garrett Williams could be activated the Monday when we get back after the bye week. And I think
against CeeDee Lamb.
Yeah. I think Garrett Williams could be one of the people that sticks around the facility during the time off to work with the training staff. Sean Scott, $4.99. What about Kenny Dillingham? I believe he's got the most out of his players and understands situational football. I mean, our guy Jody Ayler said he thinks Kenny Dillingham is bound for the NFL. I think he works really well in the college game. I would hate to suggest that. My opinion, Scott, is if the Cardinals were to fire Monti and Gannon, that the Cardinals, it's not a mandate. I would very much prefer that the Cardinals get somebody with NFL head coaching experience. We have done the one-offs. When's the last time they've hired somebody experienced? Wisenhunt, no. Obviously Arians and worked out, but then Wilkes and Cliff and now JG. It's like, I threw around the name to Bo, like Mike McCarthy. Would he take a phone call? Bidwell was infatuated with him a previous hiring cycle. It feels like in this division, these new coaches are just getting eaten alive. I don't think Kenny Dillingham could win in the NFC West right now.
It's asking a lot of a guy that is doing something, special at the college level. If you could create a little bit more of an easier transition where he become an offensive coordinator first, but I think that's insulting to Kenny Dillingham at this point. Like, he doesn't need to go those stepping stones, like his next opportunity
next supposed to be.
Right, exactly. But I don't disagree as far as how he does situationally. I think the only knock against him is that red zone offense right now could be a little bit better, but they're still winning games. They're not letting it stop them from going where they want to go. Short stack Goblin, $4.99. My opinion, we have the talent to hang with some of the best teams. JG is an okayish coach, and we have an okayish QB play. MHJ only 6 targets a game. Why?
They have nothing to hang their hat on. I think Gannon is a solid coach, but when his coordinators are letting him down, Petsy and Rollis have both had average to below average years. Kyler Murray hasn't been as good as they needed him to be. They've had injuries. The sign of a great coach is you can overcome all this. That's what Kyle Shanahan's doing right now. Kyle Shanahan also had the wherewithal to hire Robert Saleh back, bailing his ass out every week. Are the Niners 5-2 without Robert Saleh? No, they're probably 2-5. They're probably right there with Arizona. So I think Gannon, like different circumstances, could be a winning coach right now. But the hand that he was dealt, no pun intended, by this franchise and by the NFL, I don't know. The beginning of this season was such in their favor to start fast, and they have blown it. It lies on the shoulders of the people in charge, no doubt about it. Castell Fitness, $2. Jonah versus Parsons equal Invisible versus Omni-Man. I'm not sure I understand that reference. Noah, man, do you know that one?
Invincible.
No idea.
Okay.
It's Castile Fitness, and he's just saying that Invincible. I think Omni-Man is his dad.
Okay.
And I think
that cartoon, right?
I think he whoops his ass regularly.
Okay. We didn't have time to talk.
I know more of a nerd reference than you did.
I like the classics. Trendell, $5.
That was the biggest. That was one of the worst mismatches you've seen on the NFL schedule this year.
Jonah Williams.
What was Jonah Williams' PFF grade? We can talk about how people can pan PFF grades, but I think it was pretty accurate. Was it like 22?
Yeah.
Pass block, great.
Kelvin Beachum, start him. What do you have to lose? Jonah Williams is out here. I saw a bunch of people like critical, as they should be, and Jonah Williams is out here like blocking people on social media. It's like, Jonah, get off Twitter.
Yeah, dude.
Come on, man. Get off Twitter. I know you had a tough go. He's a professional. It seems like a nice guy. You make an argument like Jonah Williams is like a huge reason why they lost that game yesterday.
Let's keep it going. Trinell, $5. Thanks, Trinell. 12 different starting quarterbacks since 2007. Head coaches since then. How many times are we going to keep tearing it down? When someone shows you they are who they are, believe them.
I understand like people who are like, you can't fire Gannon and Ossenfort. What are you going to do? Start over? And I get that. I don't want to do that. You think that's our preference? Of course not. But it's also like the definition of insanity. Like, you're telling me right now, Trinell or whomever pushes back on this, I'm not saying you're wrong. If the Cardinals finish 6-11 and they have uncertainty at quarterback, and you've got 3 teams in your division that have winning records, a couple of them go to the playoffs, Rams are a contender, the Niners in an off year are winning double-digit games, and the Seahawks are only getting better. Do you have belief in this organization with the people in charge to turn the ship around in 2026? Do you feel like you have an even playing field every time you watch your coaches go to war in this division? No one can unequivocally say, yeah, we're confident this is going to be the year. You're better off in that instance going out and getting proven commodity, and you at least know that, well, the roster is not a bare covered like it was in 2023. But I don't know. There is going to be no more patience in January if they have double-digit losses.
Keeping it going here with the super chats. Libertarian Sasquatch $4.99. I disagree with not having the talent. I largely like what Monti has done. K1 is med. JG simply isn't a good coach. Team has outgrown the coach.
It's sad because all the stuff that he talked about, they're the opposite of that. And then like somebody ran with a quote. And again, Gannon in the press room has historically been fun for us, but like he talked about like digging themselves out of a hole yesterday, and people pointed this out. Like, no, you were leading the whole game. And he and Teo Mackey were kind of going back and forth in the presser. And then I know he had an exchange with Gambo, Bo's favorite, like on local radio today. And it's just like, I don't blame him for being frustrated. And I'm not here to nitpick everything he says, but that's why at the beginning of the year, when everybody knows that Drew Petzing stinks, you can't come out and say the opposite, that he's been great. That's what hurt. Like, you can't do that. Like right now, it's like Jacoby Brissett's been better. If you're committed to Drew Petzing, like there has to be a level of like respect, because Twitter's not a real place. And if I were to go and interview Joe Blow, Cardinal fan down the street, I don't know what they would say. 99% of whenever we post something on Twitter, you and I, the beat account, or the Cardinals, people want Gannon fired. We have reached that point. So like, I don't know what you say at that. I don't know how you come back from that.
Yeah, you got to win a lot of games. Michael, $1.99. Thanks, Michael. Tyler Lockett asked for his release from the Titans. Laugh my ass off.
I mean, Traylon Burks cut, Lockett released, Brian Callahan fired, beat the Cardinals. I mean, they played tight. They had about a quarter and a half of an interim coach bump with Mike McCoy, and then they got destroyed in the second half. Like, that's going to be the linchpin if Gannon and Ossenfort end up losing their jobs.
Nathan, $2, $5. Didn't want to discount that. $5. Watching the Bucks double Chip Hutchinson. Almost every play just shows what good coaching looks like. Jonah Williams' time here needs to be over.
Can you definitively say, like, when you watch the Cardinals players, do you believe they're being put in the best position to succeed?
No, not when you're continually fueled a guy that gets consistently beat. It's been a tough watch as far as that position. You give him I have definitely given him the benefit of the doubt. And now it's like you've dug yourself in a hole. You do have to make some tweaks as far as who you're deploying out there. And I think you have somebody that was more than serviceable last year. At times was the offense moved better with Beach in there. What are we wasting our time with now?
I don't trust them with a lot of players on this team. Johnny, $9.99. Great name. Greetings. I, like you, am upset. All JG does on the sidelines is stand there with his arms crossed and hit players. Wow. I'm ready for an offensive coach and a new quarterback. History would tell you that defensive coaches are up against it, and they have to allow their culture building to supersede that.
Mm-hmm.
Like John Harbaugh is a culture builder, special teams coach. Mike Tomlin, culture builder, defensive head coach. But if your culture is now based on, and your identity is based on blowing games in the fourth quarter, like you don't have the resume to be able to come back and say, well, no, just give me a different quarterback. I'll take care of it. Well, no, that's not your specialty. That's not your foray. And to Johnny's point, the quickest way back to relevancy for this team is to hire a new head coach who can develop a quarterback, and then you're set. And that's what the Cardinals tried to do with Cliff and Kyler. And to be fair, I mean, at this rate, Cliff is going to have a better winning percentage than Gannon, which is crazy.
Yeah. Keeping it going with Chase. Chase, thanks. $4.99. Both drives in the fourth quarter ended because coaching staff didn't want to chip Micah. Downright awful coaching. Micah was surprised by his 1-versus-1s. Yeah, the one at the end of the game, that was pretty much the fatal blow there. You got to help him out. And I know Gannon was talking about situationally, they don't mind that when a couple of Micahs were in the red zone, but like that was a crucial one. Because when you're like first, second, third and goal, take a sack, you're still in field goal range. But, I think in that situation at the end of the game, he should have, especially with what he'd put on tape and how he'd been a game record previous to that, you had to be mindful of where one was and put that side of the line in more of a position for success.
Maybe I'm giving him too much credit. I think Drew is 100% like in charge of everything offensively with this team. I think he's got his fingerprints on everything, and that's not to make Gannon sound like, a buffoon and he's just in charge of the defense. When you listen to Gannon talk and then what he said in years prior, I remember like a game against the Vikings last year. He's like, yeah, we're really going to feed Marv targets. And he had like 4 targets in the game. Like I don't think Gannon has his hand in a lot of the offensive stuff. I think he's given Drew complete control, and it's been a disaster. It's been a disaster because like Drew's in charge of like schematically the pass protection sets and who chips where and help. Like Drew's the offensive guy, and as Gannon said, he'll never override his OC.
Yeah, Cup, $5. Really appreciate you two in the broadcast. It's not easy to cover this team. Kudos, Scuff.
What do you think the low point of the season's been so far for
Titans. No doubt about it.
That's when it felt like people like could lose their, like, because I never
when Cam Ward hit Calvin Ridley for like a 38-yard pass down the sideline to win that game, put him in field goal range. That was the low point for me.
Mm-hmm. Libertarian Sasquatch 199. I disagree. Gannon has always seemed like a weirdo. But it was like, but he was our weirdo, and he's got these quirks, and it's like beating the hell out of Sean McVay in week 2 last year, and on the road beating Miami and beating Jim Harbaugh on phone Monday Night Football, and like battling at the end of last year with no defensive linemen and the streak at home, not allowing a touchdown for 3-4 games. It's like, that's who I thought he was. And I'm like, give him more talent. Open up the checkbook. You failed him, Monty. The Cardinals have enough good players. They're 2-5 because their coaching staff has let them down.
That guy, Angelo, we're close to what? The first pick, Jonathan Gannon?
He needs to stop saying that. They're not close. They're not close in this division. This division.
He's talking about winning a game.
I know. No. I think he thinks they're close to being a good team. This division laughs at the Cardinals. Everybody's laughing at them. And this fan base is embarrassed.
Yeah.
Like I think it needs to come back to like, we're taking this week to week, and until we win a game, we're not close to anything. They're a sorry ass team right now. I don't care. When your fan base and your players think that, oh yeah, we're going to lose in the fourth quarter, like you're not, come on. You're not some like you haven't earned anything. You haven't won anything. Gannon told us that in the offseason. We're talking about, I'm talking about, hey, coach, it's great you brought a winning record back to State Farm Stadium. He's like, we don't have a winning record yet. He gets it. He knows it. In this media market, I challenge everybody, don't make excuses for this organization and this coaching staff right now. It's like they brought this on themselves. And Bo and I aren't worried about our access by pointing that out. Like we're not responsible for this. Neither are you. Don't make excuses for them.
Buanaki, $2 Canadian. Is Doug Peterson available or is he washed? I think
Somebody
he's doing
asked me.
like the talk show circuit these days.
Yeah, somebody asked me about Doug Peterson recently. I would probably rather have Mike McCarthy. McCarthy had like a string of like 4 straight 12-win seasons. The positive with Peterson, Peterson's younger. He's 6 years younger. He's 57, whereas McCarthy, or maybe McCarthy's like 61 and Peterson's 57. Peterson was really bad in Jacksonville, but could be a byproduct to Trevor Lawrence and that ownership. So, I would interview him. I would interview him and Mike McCarthy and Brian Flores and Robert Saleh. I'd bring in all the guys that have done it once before, minimum, and just meet with them and see how it goes. I would not interview anybody.
Pete Carroll going to be available.
Maybe.
Desert Vulture, $5. We need an innovative OC like Notre Dame's Mike Denbrock, Texas's Kyle Flood, Oregon's Will Stein, plus an assistant OC to learn the lesson Bidwell. Learn the lesson, Bidwell.
Do you trust this coach? Do you trust Gannon and Ossenfort to be able to hire the right offensive coordinator if this offseason, if they get to keep their jobs?
I think you'd have to like venture outside of who you would predict. Like you're saying a lot of like Stefanski, like, because then that's much of the same of what you've seen. Like if they venture outside of and find like the Clint Kubiak that Seattle was able to land on, you got to find somebody with a bit of a resume and isn't as unknown that when things do if they do go south, you're not just sitting there with like, well, he's a first-time play caller, and we have nowhere else to turn.
I don't think I trust them with another OC.
Easy answer, no. Yeah. PHX, Eddie Money. What happened to our defense that was heavily invested in?
Stinks.
Can't get off the field.
They start playing real offenses, and they stink now.
They rush and they cover in the first 3 quarters, and then after that, they don't. They decide we're not going to do that any longer. 3 quarters is too much.
Look at the Packers just beat the Cardinals' ass up front defensively, and all the negative plays. And Jacoby Brissett, God love him, running for his life. Did it ever feel like Jordan Love was under duress? Jordan Love got tripped up on a bull rush by David Collins. Every other play, it was like he could take off if he wanted to. He's got time. It's like, you built this. This is yours. This isn't Keim with a bunch of washed players, Lecky Fotu. It's like, no, these are your guys. Where's the pressure with 4? What happened to Sweat and Baron Browning? They started playing LaFleur and Steichen, and those guys are like, we're putting up 30 points on you guys.
Brian P. Brian P. for the $5. You can't be a losing team and not give anything to the press. You have to be entertaining on the field or off the field. The Cards are neither. Fire JG.
This is where Scattaboo really could have helped the PR, the optics of the PR. This is where the Scat Man could have been vital. They laughed at the idea of Scat Man. You could have been. Could you imagine if they had Scat right now? They'd be thanking their lucky stars that you're there to put an elixir to this team. I don't think the press thing for me, Brian, is like people.
You think Scat would be successful running through behind this scheme?
Come on.
Why do you say come on? Like, I mean, do we know if he's going to be able to do that?
Bam Knight looks pretty good. Scat, like the electricity that Scattaboo would bring on and off the field is exactly what Brian's saying.
Yeah.
Gannon can't help him. Brian, there's nothing Gannon can say right now that's going to win people back other than wins. Like that, the damage is done. Yeah. Like outside of like there'd be a momentary bump. Like people expected today. We should probably touch on this quickly. I know we got 2 more super chats. We got to get out of here. People were expecting, like, I had people messaging me like, what changes are coming today? And it's like, they didn't fire anybody. They didn't cut anybody. So like that sends the message to this fan base. Like, we're good with the status quo. I mean, like, and so like, what's Gannon going to say at a press conference? Unless you're making moves like that. If Gannon, I'll tell you right now, if Gannon had come out and said like, Kyler Murray's our quarterback, we are making a change of play caller, Drew Terrell is going to be the play caller moving forward. Like, there's some juice to that, but it's just like, nope. He continues to go back to like the solutions are in this building. So
you get no juice. No juice. Chief Skull 199. I'm good with Monty. Gannon needs his year one attitude.
He's the same guy. But the difference is, Chief, is there are expectations now. There were zero expectations for this team the last 2 years. You just had to show marginal improvement.
Yeah. Last super chat. What's up?
They're killers. Expectations are killers.
Yeah. Keith Davis, $5. It seems like you guys are too fun of Gannon because you like him. It's production business and he's failing. We've mentioned that.
Keith, have you missed the whole show?
Yes.
Keith, maybe fast forward on the show where your broadcast is.
Rewind. Yeah.
Literally, yes, we love Gannon. If he keeps his job, he probably won't be back on this podcast. Who knows? Yeah. He might come back. If they continue to lose, they have to move off of him and Ossenfort. This is it would be unprecedented to keep him, to have this kind of record. I didn't get to this real quick. He didn't want to become Eberflus. We knew that. He didn't want to run through coordinators. Right. Matt Eberflus got fired last year. Okay, mid-season, 12 games in. Matt Eberflus was 14, and I think what did I sent this to Bo. Hang on. Matt Eberflus, his coaching record was 14-32. Gannon is 14-27, and people are like, get Eberflus out of here. Mm-hmm. Gannon's going to get to the end of the year. He's going to finish his third season. But if let's just say they're 16-32, what are we doing?
Right. Didn't Flus win one game on the road his entire career?
Here are his records by season: 13-14. Cardinals were 14-13. Then Eberflus was 7-10. Cardinals were 8-9, and then he was 4-8. Then he got fired. I mean, it's we're one game off every year,
right?
And the Chicago was like, "You're done. Get out of here."
Not great company.
No.
Tyler P. Historically, Arizona has always been the most successful when they run offenses that push the ball downfield. Wiz and Bruce Arians. We need to return to that.
I mean, I feel like they've done that the last 2 weeks with Jacoby Brissett. And if they return to the former style of play with Kyler Murray, not only will they will lose badly, and this fan base will be out for blood for everybody, because it will show you that they did not have the pulse of the team. But if you can get Bo, do you have optimism that Kyler Murray can return to his deep ball throwing ways after sitting on the bench for 2 weeks injured?
Jacoby Brissett has 11 big play passes in 2 games.
Leads the NFL in that span.
The team had 7 in the previous 5 weeks. What? I mean, you would have to come and reinvent yourself as a quarterback, and that would be a welcome sign. We'd all want to see it. It would be electric, and Kyler come back and say, "Yeah, I can do this." But until he does it, I can understand people being skeptical. It's been a banner show. We've got full week of coverage. As we mentioned, the Hall of Famer Kurt Warner's joining us on Wednesday. We got other great guests in line for you. Thank you for all the incredible super chats. It was unbelievable today. People hang in there. We got this bye week and a full week of prep for Monday Night Football. We continue to do this thing. We don't go anywhere. We got to keep our play at a high level. We're not 14-27. I don't believe. Our record reflects something a little bit better, and that's because of all you out there. You're big-time players. Like this video, subscribe to PHNX Sports, follow Johnny on social at Johnny Venerable. Give him some love, right? He's taking a lot of heat out there. And
sorry for being positive.
Yeah, how dare you? And of course, follow at PHNX_Cardinals. We got more info, more show tomorrow, 4:30. Don't miss it right here at PHNX Cardinals.
We all silly like the mayor.